I want to make it very clear one more time here. Nobody in the Philadelphia media said that A.J. Brown should be traded. He made that up. Just like I did when I said there was a poll question on WIP about 4 weeks ago. And I went like this. I'm going to bring Mike up here in a second. And I said, hey, that's an interesting topic. Mike knows this because he's one of the legendary sports guys. You know what you do? You look for content to try to create a topic. And so what I did was I went, hey, that's interesting. Maybe we can get some draft choices, trade him for Patrick Surtain. They ate $33 million before on Wentz. It's a topic. You know what he did? He calls in whining to WIP, and he's moaning, going, they don't want me here. I never said I didn't want to be here. Nobody said you didn't want to be here. How would we know that, guy? Hey, look, A.J. Owens, this guy loves drama. Let me bring a guy in who could decipher this as what. Mike, nobody said that they thought he was unhappy here. He made that up. Wait, let me stop. What have you made of the whole drama surrounding AJ and all the stuff that went on last week?
By the way, first of all, you know the way I look at it, like players that are calling into a sports radio station to say they're being treated unfairly. And here's the thing about players, Sills, and you know this. They think that the media is there to be their rah-rah and to wave their pennants. And they never get it. They never get it that that's not what the media's job is. Now, with the proliferation of this new media, where we've produced more young fanboys into the business, maybe that's conditioning them a little bit. But I have to laugh every time a player does that. Like, you're like, you're not with us. Well, I'm not supposed to be with you. You know what, AJ, if the Eagles were sending me a check, damn, I'd be with you. I would be with you, because then I owe something to the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't owe anything to the Philadelphia Eagles. I owe my opinion to the customers that I serve, or the listeners. Now, most of the time they don't want to hear it, which is the beauty of this whole thing. Fans, and I know this, so I don't get mad about it. Fans are always going to be on the side of the player and against the media. Oh my God, the media is so taken for granted by fans, and they don't stop to think, how do you get your information? Does it fall like little parachutes out of the sky, give you the information? The media gives you the freaking information. But like clockwork, oh my God, you're picking on one of our guys, and I'm a fan. I get it, but come on, man, put it. Let's get to what the reality of this is. It's weak for A.J. Brown to do that. It's like, stop feeling sorry for yourself, dude. Like he thinks he comes out of like a church and did nothing. Like he was the one who had the arguments on the sideline. What is the media supposed to do with that? Oh my God, he must be disgruntled. There must be something going on. Or the media is supposed to say, well, we forget about it because that's one of our Eagles, and we don't want to disturb him. And then at the end of the year, when all this turmoil was going on, when he was supposed to be a team leader, he pulls this diva act where he makes it a point that he's not talking to the media. He made a spectacle about that. Like, he walked out intentionally to show the media that he wasn't going to talk to them. Now, that's okay. You don't want to talk to the media, that's fine. But the message in a time of turmoil in your locker room, and people see that, and they go, man, AJ's off now too, man. We're really in big trouble. It's a terrible message to your teammates. So all this happened that he created, the media picks up on it because it is content. Let's face it. We're not trying to ruin the Philadelphia Eagles. It's content. It's conversation about sports. And these players never get it. And most of the fans never get it.
They don't, Mike. Angelo, you, I guess now me. I mean, I had 500,000 fans view a clip because I called him A.J. Owens 2.0. And I'm like, it's it's a goof. Don't take it so serious. And I'm sitting here going like this. So wait a minute, to your point. So he says the media is bad in Philly. Then he calls a station and moans and cries to them. And then he says to them, You guys are media guys. You should be rooting for us. This guy's delusional. And Mike, this is part of, and that guy's a captain on the Eagles. There's part of your problem too. It's leadership in the building.
Well, exactly. I mean, that's part of it. Like you're a captain, you're supposed to be a leader. So at the end, when you go off half-cocked, that projects to your teammates. But listen, it's a battle that the media can't win. So you just have to take the hit. You know, you call him T.O. had a legitimate beef for him to go off, even though he's crazy as all hell. He had a legitimate beef because his contract was all messed up, and they tried to pull something on him. So, he should have been more diligent about it, but he's a player. So he goes off. He wasn't unfriendly to the media. He was overly cooperative with the media when it came down. He invited him to his driveway. He's doing the sit-ups. This guy doesn't have a beef. What's A.J. Brown's beef? There's nobody put something on him. All these little things he created.
Let me ask you something, Mike. Is this not a reflection of Sirianni's leadership in the locker room? Isn't this kind of like what we've been talking about here with the lack of leadership? I mean, I'm still trying to determine what his job title is. I don't know. I mean, head cheerleader? I don't know what his job is. I mean, maybe because you've been around that team, you know that there may be, he gets Krellers and coffee or what have you. I don't know. Help me out on this. I mean, is this not a reflection on him with the loose cannons in that locker room?
I think the bigger reflection, of course, is the topic that hit. Well, what D. Gunn, our colleague, JAKIB Media's report that he needed Big Dom, and if Big Dom wasn't there, he went off half-cocked.
A babysitter?
Yeah. I mean, that's the most preposterous story I've ever heard. I'm going, this is an NFL head coach. You need a bodyguard to actually be a normal coach. Like I don't, that report told me more than this whole thing. Listen, things can unravel in a hurry in the NFL, right?
Oh,
so
yes.
It's all peaches and cream. They went to the Super Bowl. He goes to the Super Bowl, and I can't take that away from him because that's the thing that balances this whole thing, and that's what people always throw in your face. Well, look at all the wins he's got. He took him to the Super Bowl. How dare you question? And then I look at the 6 games and the 6 losses in 7 games, and I go, he was blah 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 blah. Like he couldn't handle that whole thing. And I'm going, okay, what means more, the fact that they got to a Super Bowl or that? Because I saw that too. And maybe the Super Bowl is like, well, sometimes talent gets together and all the ducks are in a row and you win. And like I didn't think he was that brilliant of a coach, but I go, well, all right, they won a Super Bowl, so or they got to a Super Bowl, so I guess that we have to give him a little more time. And then that happened last year, and then this A.J. Brown thing happened. So listen, man, that I was an advocate that he shouldn't come back for this year after that collapse happened at the end. That to me is very telling about a coach's ability to handle crisis.
Mike, the other part of that, and for me, it's one thing for me to talk shit and throw something out there. I mean, hey, you can hack it to pieces because I tell people I'm not a journalist. I'm a sports talk host. I do this for entertainment. Okay, I'm not that. D Gun's different though. When he said something about Hurts and not being able to handle the money, and not having a lot of pressure on him. I mean, Mike, how'd you take that? Was that a shot at his leadership? Was that a shot at dealing with the new person that he is? Plus, on top of that, the Eagles isolate him more, and he's not as accessible as he was the year before. Man, this has got a lot of Wentz movements to it, except for the players and the people are different 100%. But why are you protecting him?
He's a young kid. Maybe it did send him into bad habits. But here's the thing that I always think about when this kind of thing happens. He's the one who facilitated and participated in the big pay raise. He did that. He and his agent deserve this kind of money. Okay, guess what?
Yeah,
that puts you in another category where you're going to have to handle those kind of things. And people aren't going to just say, "Oh, well, hey, Jalen, go ahead, go just Go in your little corner. We won't bother you. That's going to bring attention to him. So if he couldn't handle it, then I don't understand how he didn't expect it. To me, if you're one of the highest paid players in the league, there's going to be a lot of scrutiny on you and a lot of attention. And if you can't handle it, I don't know if that's my fault. That's probably your fault.
Mike, let me go here also. A couple things on Devontae. May 2nd, there's a decision that the Eagles have to make. Extend him now, which they can offer him an extension, or pick the 5th-year option up, which means if you pick and you extend him now, which means signing bonus money, that kind of goes towards the money that they need to use this offseason here. And you're looking at 2 wide receivers making a boatload of money because the base will be down still with the rookie contract, but the signing bonus will kick in because they're going to give him a brand new extension. What do you think they should do here? Because if they don't pick the 5th year up, he's a free agent after the 24 season.
You got to measure this player. Like, I saw some signs of him last year that he kind of like went from really nice guy to kind of like diva-ish. Like there were some complaints that he threw out there last year. So the question is, are you going to lose the player if you decide to wait before you give him that? I think that they would have to weigh that because he does not have the greatest role model on the other side. So I don't know. I don't think that he's going to be like this stoic good soldier. Oh, okay, you pay me when you get to me. He might. That's what they have to measure. They know the inside better than I do with what his personality is. But you do listen. This team needs a lot of players, Dan.
Oh.
They need a ton of players,
Mike. They need probably 9 new dudes on defense.
I totally agree. So, it's all well and good that you would make him happy and you have really 2 good wide receivers. The problem was your defense last year anyway. Your back 7 you couldn't trust at all. Now you can't trust 9. So I don't know. That's their problem. That Howie Roseman, who's gotten all kinds of praise, now has to deal with this because there are a lot of things that he messed up.
Here's what I just said before I got you on about the draft coming up. Everyone goes, well, they need a linebacker, they need corners, they need safeties. And I'm like, why in the world would you ask somebody to do something that they're not qualified to do? Howie Roseman, as a drafter at linebacker, corner, and safety, has been pathetic his 23 years in Philadelphia that he's had any kind of control of the college draft. They're great at O-line, D-line. They're great at tight ends. And the depth at both positions is something that I would trust them in. To sit there and go into the draft and say, this guy's qualified to give me another Nakobe Dean. I look at a 3rd rounder in San Francisco and see Fred Warner. I look at a 3rd rounder in Philly and I see a guy they cut last year and I see Nakobe Dean. Why in the world would I put that guy in a position? I think he's a lot better in pro personnel, Mike, finding guys like Gardner Johnson down on a roster somewhere, negotiating deals like that when he has time. He tried to Band-Aid it last year, and I think he got caught. How do you think they should approach this upcoming April draft?
I don't think he's going to change. You got to understand, he came through the Joe Banner, Jeffrey Lurie type of philosophy about these player evaluations. Like they did all this study on what players are more valuable than others. And so, Banner never valued linebackers either. Like that was filtered down through the years, and how he came up under that system. I don't think he's going to change now. They also like to go for bargains that they think where they're smarter than everybody else. So they did it with Hurts. Like that to me, when they took Hurts, I thought it was absolutely absurd. Now the way things worked out, they look great. But I think it happened by accident. And the Kobe Dean was the same way. It's like, oh my God, he's in the 3rd round. We could show how smart we are. We got value because that guy originally was supposed to be a 1st rounder. They get carried away with that kind of thing. But I don't think their philosophy is going to change. I get the impression that Howie Roseman really thought that he did a bad job with the linebackers because he mentioned the Kobe Dean and he mentioned
Zach Cunningham.
He mentioned Cunningham, who's a journeyman. And I'm going, come on, man.
Mike, when you look at the owner's position, Let me guess. Is he in France with Norman looking for a yacht? I mean, is he yacht hunting? What does he do? Where's his place in all of this? I mean, are you not watching this? This is really a comedian show right now. This is like a night at the Improv on what's going on here. What's his role in this?
His role, he jumped in and he told Sirianni, hey, you can stay as long as you accept the fact that we're going to have to review the whole coaching staff and we're going to have to bring in all new guys for you. And Sirianni goes, okay. Well, he wasn't going to buck that like Peterson bucked it. So that's where he has his mark. He doesn't think his philosophy is wrong by any measure. Like he and Roseman think they have it figured out. And so when it happens that what happened last year, it's like, okay, now we allowed Sirianni to do some things, but now we have to come in and say, this is the way it's going to be, dude. And these are the coordinators that you're going to hire. And the coordinators are going to hire these guys. And that's the way it's going to be. And Sirianni had to take it.
Finally here for you. What to do with Hassan Reddick. Now hear me out first here. So on a team that can't get home and sucks in the back seven, making $15 million, 12 sacks. Hey, listen, he's a great pass rusher. He's not very good at covering tight ends. He can't tackle worth of shit. And Vic Fangio, I don't know if he had a say in saying, why don't you go out and see if there's a team out there that could pay you more? Mike, nobody does that with value of a player or a person or a car or a home. Hey, I tell you what, why don't you go see if somebody will pay you more and then we'll have a conversation about it. I mean, that's not a way to do business with somebody you're really engaged in. And let's not forget, he's been cut twice because they haven't figured out really a role for him. Now, when they got Sue and Linval Joseph, Mike, I think that turned his entire 22 season around. All he had to worry about was pass rushing and not tackling, and he was a force. But when he's not on a team like that, does he fit in Philly at $18 million a year?
No, I'm getting the impression that he doesn't, and I think Fangio has let that be known to them. So, the thing is, they don't have anybody that rushes the passer, so you can't ignore those sack value. So they say, okay, let's see if you get more, because this takes him off the hook, and he finds a team that's going to give him that kind of money. They make the trade, they move on. They say, oh, you know what, that's the way it worked. We couldn't pay him that kind of money. Or if he limps back to them, they'll make it work because he does sack the quarterback, and Fangio will try to make it work somehow. But I think it's pretty clear when they told the agent, go out and find yourself a deal, that's pretty telling on what they think of him, right?
Absolutely. I mean, hey, we think a lot of you, but if someone thinks more of you, let us know. I'm
like a lot of you at this price.
Hey, or better yet, my wife telling me, hey, I love you, but if someone out there loves you more, we'll have to make a decision here. Mike, I want one last thing out of you here. How many years were you on the air? Well, you're still on. So, because I know we're going to talk about your podcast.
Yeah, I started in with WIP in 91.
Holy shit.
Yeah, because that's when WIP
you're
started.
Big guy.
Angelo was the first guy to go in 90. And then it was either 91 or maybe it was 92.
So
but
you're
somewhere
big guy.
In there. It was the infancy of WIP is when I started.
So you're a big guy.
Add up the years. Now there were a couple of interludes in there where I moved to WMMR for a couple of years to do a morning show where I got fired because I had an altercation. So that was you subtract a couple of years there in sports talk radio, but it's over 30 years.
All these Italian guys getting into arguments with people. Gee, really? Anyway, okay. Hey, how come all these people blame us? What is this?
Well, blame talk host guy?
Like when you bring a topic up and they don't like it, it's this. This is all you do is hate and talk shit. And I'm like, no, I brought up a fact. Counting the playoff game, you were 1-7, and you were beat by Drew Lock and the dude that's right now delivering pizza in Soho. I mean, that's what I'm talking about here. But then
listen, I've come to grips, but you're never going to win the argument over fans who want to love their players. They don't want to love you. They don't want to love me. They don't want to love anybody in the media who covers it on a daily basis and gives them information. That we are peons to fans. The fans love the players. And if you do anything against the player, it's like you're doing something against them. I've come to grips with that. That's fine. But I still have to be honest with my own opinion on what I see as an analyst. I'm not a flag waver. I never was, because I started out as a newspaper journalist. So it was really difficult to wave a pennant. Now, when somebody is in a championship run, it's great for the city, and I'm all aboard with it. But I know I can't win it. It's A.J. Brown. To me, A.J. Brown is wrong. He caused all that situation. But if you're going to criticize him, and then he goes on the air and cries even more, which gets some more sympathy with the fans. And then the fans go, that damn radio station, they're always causing trouble. They're not beefing up the team. And they don't understand that that's not what we do.
And again,
no, it didn't help. I'll tell you what didn't help. And I don't know. He was an intern with us. This Jack Fritz guy was an intern, and now he's on their afternoon show. When he organized that, let's give a standing ovation to Trey Turner. That's something that's something I would never do. Like a younger fan type of guy would do that kind of thing. But that's what they want. It's what fans want. Oh, look at that guy. He's with us. He organized.
Wait a minute. That guy said, let's give him a standing ovation.
Oh yeah, that was that was a big thing in the city where he orchestrated like on the air that when he came up that next game, because he had been slumping really badly and he was getting booed and the whole bit. Well, so they said, well, let's just support him and let's give him a stand. So they gave him a standing ovation. Now, coincidentally, after they did that, he turned into a different player. He turned into Trey Turner again. So it's like, this is what fans take inventory of. Look, if you were there was a host who was on the Philly side and look at the benefit of it. It's like, okay, that's not my style. That was somebody else's style. But my point is, fans are never going to side with you in the media. They're never going to do it, ever.
What happened to Howard? Why is he a shill now for the Eagles? Is it because he gets a paycheck? Is it because he gets a paycheck now from them?
I did a show with him way back in the day.
I can't believe what happened to him, Mike. He's turned into the biggest shill on the planet. And here's one of the guys I put in the room with you and Angelo. And when I listen to him now, all I hear is a megaphone for the Eagles.
You have to understand the dynamic of him. He always wanted to be included on a team and never was able to. So now this is a chance where he feels like he's connected to a team. It's an insecurity thing, but that's his life.
It's so lovely. Mike, tell folks how they could get you, man, and your fabulous
you can get me email-wise if you want to email me. It's mike@mikemiss.com, and Twitter is MikeMiss25. And you can get the podcast twice a week and sometimes more, sponsored by Bet Rivers. And if you don't know how to access podcasts, because a lot of people of our age group don't know how to do that, podcasts are foreign to them, just Google my name, Mike Missinelli Podcast. It'll pop up, and then you subscribe, and it'll come in your inbox. So you can hear this podcast on all the major podcast networks, Amazon, Spotify, Google, Apple, iTunes. So there you go.
See, Mike's full of shit. He's been covering me since I was 19 years old. So I mean, don't talk to me like hey, Mike, thank you for everything, man. And I really appreciate you doing this for me. Thank you so much, my friend.
All right, Danny. Keep hanging in there. We'll talk to you.
You got it. The great Mike Missinelli. Absolutely. That was interesting. That was interesting. He called. Did I hear him call A.J. Owens a crybaby too? What is going on here? Holy cow. What happened? He was like, he called him a crybaby. So wait a minute. Who's this guy, Jack Fritz? I never heard of him. He's got to be one of those like wheel runners over there. Who's Jack? Let's give him a standing ovation. He didn't do it. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. I don't believe it. No, he didn't. Jack Fritz started the AJ trade poll question. Let's give him a standing ovation. You see, hey, did you see the Philadelphia Eagle poll question on the WIP Twitter page? Do you feel a lot better now about AJ Owens? Yes or no? Of course, I clicked no. I'll tell you. I don't hide. Well, hey, let's give him a standing ovation. What are these guys, therapists? You know what? The one thing that I did when Xander and Big Joe were looking for a host, one thing they were saying, content's great, can deliver a show, and he's got a psychology degree so that he could talk to people and ask if they're feeling okay about themselves. How are you? Like the guy in the morning asking Nick Sirianni, how is all this stress making you feel, Nicky? Who asked that kind of shit? Boy, the dudes that, you're right. I could never in a million years be on the radio because I would never talk like that. I don't give a shit how Nick or AJ Owens feels. I care you win and you show leadership and you play in a city that's paying you. Nothing more. You owe that guy nothing. He owes you everything. Your season tickets are paying his salary. The owner's not. You gave him a stadium. You did everything for him. And they make you feel like you're the outsiders. You're not. You're the insiders. See, the difference what people don't get about sports fans, and maybe I should have told you guys this. This is how I look at you. You'll always be Eagles. You know why? Like the players, you're not going anywhere. You either put the uniform on and play, or if you're an Eagle fan your whole life, you're not going anywhere. These coaches and executives, they come and go. They come and go. You're the ones that pay the tickets and the PSLs and get double dipped. You're the ones. Whew. Hey, let's give him a standing ovation for coming on your show. My God. You know, Xander said something to me prior to the show starting. You know what he said? He goes like this. Something's happened to Philly. Your sports talk guys are saying, let's give this guy a standing ovation for coming on a show and crying. Oh, my God. You know what? I'm serious. I'm going to have to put my hand over my eyes for a minute because I'm embarrassed for you. Okay? Cosmo goes, I wish Sills would go to the press conference for the Eagles. Are you crazy? Here, I'll give you this. Cosmo, I'll tell you this. Just so you know, in 2012, when I had my unfortunate situation on the air, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers used that moment to say this. Either he goes or we go. And then the market manager at the Fanatic hired me a day later for more money to go down in Miami and be the afternoon guy and replace Sid Rosenberg, who's on WABC in the mornings now, and replaced him. I replaced Sid. I had a job the next day. Same guy in your market now that runs it. I had a job the next day. All you need to know, he goes or we go. Big Dom would shatter your question sheet. Be like, you mean, oh, hey, what are you talking about, Kev? You mean to be like those index cards that Biden has? Man, Angelo, I know you're watching. I didn't know it was going to be this. I did not. Gary Cobb is going to join us at 4:30. Shit, Big Dom versus Sills? No way. Unless it's a pizza eating contest, I'm out. I'm a lover today. I'm not a fighter anymore. I'm retired now. I got to worry about people coming after me. Philly media guys. And Mike Missinelli saying, you guys always side with the players? Really? I'll take Sills over Big Dom. Loyal. That's right. Loyal to the soil. So I get it now. So when Big Sills says something about your boys, you cry? Like AJ Owens? Big bad Sills. I'm the bad guy. Remember that. I'm the bad guy. Sills would be the guy laughing. Cosmo's right. I think we need to give AJ Owens a standing ovation. I'd start laughing in the background. Okay? Let's see here. I love, hey, hang on. Let's see. I before I go, I have to do something because I'm going to ask Xander to do something for me. LJ and Chris. My wife came up with this and my daughter did too. So, Xander, we got to come up with an award. LJ posts 100 comments in the box. Is that how you say it? A day, which comes out to 400 a week. Okay. Which comes out to around 1,600 a month. So if you put that over 10, that's 16,000. Add two more, we're talking about 20 grand. Man. And Chris is a little less. He's at 8,000. So you're in the 8,000 post group. And I got to tell you, LJ and Chris, you guys coming here every day and posting comments towards Big Sills, I can't thank you enough. We're going to come up with an award. Okay, we will. We're going to come up with an award, okay, for the dude that is the most loyal and most consistent poster in the history of the National Football Show. 20,000 posts, LJ. 20,000. Thank you. Let's take a time out. Gary Cobb, bottom in the hour. Let's give LJ and Chris a standing ovation. Keep it here, National Football Show.